Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Well, by now in your life, you know that you should be getting quality sleep, a good night's sleep. Unfortunately, it's easier said than done. So many of us have challenges either falling asleep or, if you can, then staying asleep. Many of us gravitate toward medication, sometimes CBD. That all stuff works sometimes. What about acupuncture? I would have never thought that. We're going to talk about that today and how it can support and put you to sleep. Dr. Kelly is based out of New York City, practices Chinese medicine, and with that comes all different modalities, including herbals, but of course, acupuncture. And she's back with us. Dr. Kelly, welcome. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, Steve. How are you doing?
Really well. I had to tell you, every time we get together, it's almost like my mind is blown because I never consider acupuncture for so many of these things that challenge us, and sleep being one of them. I would have never even thought that you could use acupuncture. So tell us.
Yes. So actually, I have many patients come in um for insomnia. Like either have a hard time to fall in sleep or have a hard time to stay in sleep, or both.
Hmm.
Um, usually in Western medicine, they just take a pill. But the point is, if you take that pill, it looks like physically you're falling asleep. Actually, your mind didn't really get rested. So a lot of people say next day when they get up, they still feel fatigue, like no energy, tired stuff. So they come to me, they said, Dr. Kelly, can you help me? I really feel bothered by by the sleep. So yes, I did help a lot of patients. They had trouble about sleep. So after acupuncture, they had better sleep. Even they never had sleep for the whole night, but after the first treatment, a lot of people reported to me they had, the whole night sleep without waking up. So they are very happy.
How does it work? I'm trying to figure out how often do you need acupuncture to ensure that you get regular good nights of sleep?
Yes, how does acupuncture can help you about sleep? It's a very good question. So one is in Chinese medicine, we have the liver failure or liver blood deficiency. So usually, not always, but a lot of time when people have a lot of stress, usually they have a hard time to go to sleep and have a hard time to stay in sleep. And some people, like even young people, so this sleeping problem doesn't just affect like people who are over 13 age, actually young people, 20 something, even younger ones, they can have this problem too. So in Chinese medicine, if you have like liver failure, it's like a lot of heat in your body. You kind of like rising up. You cannot really come down, or you have like liver blood deficiency. So in that way, you just couldn't stay in sleep. A lot of these kind of people, if you look at their tongue are pretty red. So like, for example, this 20 something patient, he actually just come in for lower back pain. But when I check his tongue, I found out that his tongue is very red. So I said, do you have problem to fall asleep or stay in sleep? He said, yes, I do. Because from the tongue color, you can tell he had a lot of heat in his body. So that can be from stress because he has like a very stressful job working in a big firm. So the stress turned to the heat. So the heat just let him cannot fall in sleep. But the one good thing about acupuncture is they also have some points just to help you to fall asleep. It's like behind the ear. I usually use that points on people. And also, of course, if you have a liver failure, we will put the failure off. kind of like you have too much fire going on, we give you some water to pull the fire off. And if you have a liver blood deficiency, so we will nourish your liver blood. People may ask, how did I get to this point? How did my liver blood go deficient? Right? One cause can be, you have a lot of stress. Let stress turn to liver failure or liver heat. Let heat kind of like dries up the yin. Blood is yin, right? So dries up the yin, then your yin kind of like too less. In Chinese medicine, we always talk about the yin and yang, which is anchor each other, right? But when your yin is deficient, looks like you have too much yang. But actually, nobody has too much yang. It's just because your yin is less, make you looks like you have too much yang, which means you have heat in your body. Then let fire just, flaring up, right? We all know fire go up, right? That's why these kind of people, they have trouble to fall asleep. And of course, we have also herbal formula, but acupuncture itself is pretty effective. A lot of my patients, they reported to me, this really helped them a lot.
Now, Dr. Kelly, are you saying that most people that have challenges sleeping, it starts with the liver?
Well, in Chinese medicine, we always associate the emotion with certain organ, right? Liver control the anger, the stress, lung control in charge of the grief, right? Like you kind of like very sad. Then usually mean your lung is kind of like deficient, you cry easily, right? So every organ have their certain emotion. So liver's emotion is anger, is stress. You're very stressful, you're angry. So that emotion, it can be from job or can be from family or from friends. That will gradually change to like heat or fear rising up. So yeah, still you kind of right. Yes, it's kind of like have something to do with the liver. Yes.
So let's go to I'll call them the mechanics of helping somebody with insomnia. Acupuncture needles, we're addressing most likely a liver issue. Where do the needles go in?
So good, good question. Where the needle go in? Right? Usually, because these kind of people they don't have good sleep. Because they don't have good sleep, next day when they waking up, they don't have enough energy. So they usually fatigue or tired, low energy. So one point I like to use is on the top of the head. They call do 20. So that do 20, actually the Chinese name is called Bai Hui. Bai means 100. Hui means meeting. So it's like that point is 100 points meeting at that point, which means give you a lot of energy. So I usually use that point for people who have fatigue, tired, low energy, like even people who have very severe autoimmune disease because they usually like don't have enough energy, like they need to drink like coffee to wake up. So that energy, because on top of the head, it's also, in Chinese medicine, we talk about the yin and yang, right? The head, top of the head is like a yang point, right? It's especially it's on the top. So it's like most the yang point. It's kind of like connect with the sky, give you a lot of energy. And actually a lot of patients, they really love that point. They really love it. So, and also that point not only give you energy, can also like kind of like, pull the qi down if you have a lot of fear going on, a lot of stress. It's kind of a lot of qi just kind of like stuck over here. I start with this point, do 20 here, then I will, gradually move down. So the qi kind of like calm down. So you still have energy, but your qi is going down. So you are calming, you feel peaceful. It's that's one point I use. The other point is behind the ear. That point is called Anmian. An means like peaceful. Mian means sleep. So which means that point give you peaceful sleep. Like people really feel it's very nice. Like after I put that points in, after I put the needle on that acupuncture points, they kind of like start to really feel sleepy, like want to close their eye. So that's 2 points I'm using usually for people who have trouble about sleep. Of course, I use the four gates, right? The Li4, He and the one on the feet, lever 3, Tai Chun. So the four gates, like the four gates open up, your qi starts to move in your body. So you will not have stress anymore because the qi starts to move in your whole body. That's another point I really like to use. But of course, it depends on individual patients. Some people may also have like a weak spleen, right? When your spleen is weak, I also will tonify your spleen. I will use some like maybe spleen 9 is on the leg or stomach 36, which is a very good point. Tonify the qi and blood. Just in general, people call it a longevity point. Like doesn't matter who you are, like what kind of problem you have, that point give you more qi and blood, make your boost your immunity, make you stronger. So that's the general point I will use for patients who have this problem.
So, am I hearing it right, Dr. Kelly? You would use a acupuncture needle at the top of somebody's head for this?
Yes.
I'm kind of surprised because I would think you would need more skin, if you will. The skull is right there, so I guess it's a very shallow, short needle.
Yes, actually, on the top of the head, you're right still because there are not much like, muscle or
Yeah.
fat tissue over there. It is pretty kind of like just skin, right? Skin bone. So usually for this area, we will put the needle kind of like backwards, we not like perpendicular because there just not much depth, but you cannot really go in that deep. So we will go like downward, a little bit backward. So in that way, it can also kind of like a grounding you, make you more grounded. You feel like more calming, more peaceful. You feel pretty relaxed.
For the average person, and everybody's different, everybody's sleep situation is different. Typically, how many needles would you need to use to help somebody get better sleep?
In general, so maybe about 10 needles.
Okay. Hmm.
Yeah, 10
Uh,
needles are not a lot, and a lot of patients actually they love it so much. They want me needle them more. They like, if I miss, like I have patients who come in regularly, like every week, 2 or 3 times. If I miss one point, they will say, "Hey, Dr. Kelly, you didn't put this needle,
Wow. That says a lot, and again, we've talked about it before. Many people don't do acupuncture because they have aversion to needles, but the needles are so fine, like a hair. You probably won't feel it, maybe a little pressure, I would assume. Um, I've never asked you this, but let's say somebody goes in for insomnia, right? Would you also use needles for other challenges at the same time? So let's say somebody's got an issue, and I'm going hypothetical. You could pick anything. I'm going in for insomnia, but while I'm there, I have some digestion issues, Dr. Kelly. Can we address that as well? Would you put in needles for both?
Yes, actually, still, you pick up a very good point here. Like for example, people have insomnia may have trouble about their digestion. Actually, in Chinese
I was
medicine,
just random, by the way. I was just picking two of anything. Could have been, I got knee pain and insomnia, but I didn't know there might have been a connection there. Okay.
Yeah, actually it's a pretty good connection because a lot of people, I mean, not every single one, most people when they have insomnia, usually they have something associated with it. For example, not very good digestion, or even constipation. Right. So in general, when I treat patients, even they come in just for like low back pain or just for insomnia, I will check their tone and pulse. I will figure out, oh, actually your digestion is not very good, or your elimination is not good. So I will treat your whole body. Even they didn't mention, even they don't even know they have this trouble. So I will put some points to help them better digesting. So in that way, their whole body just get more healthier. So of course, their sleep gonna get better. Another thing I want to mention about insomnia is like because still you mentioned about the digestion, right? So in Chinese medicine, we have a thing called 胃不和则卧不安. 胃 means like stomach. 不 means no, 和 means harmony. So 胃不和 means your stomach not in harmony. 卧 means like sleeping, relax. 不 again means no, right? An means peaceful. So when your digestion is not good, you cannot have a good sleep. So in this way, so you're absolutely right. Actually, even it's random you said about digestion. So when people have not very good digestion, they just cannot have a good sleep, especially people who eat very late. That's why I always, one of the reasons I always suggest patients don't go to sleep too late, don't eat too late, because you got to let your body digest the food, digest the dinner. Then you can have good sleep. If you eat like 11, then you go to sleep at 11, you're not gonna have good sleep because your body is still working on the food. So yeah, you're right about digestion and sleep.
I'm in a bad habit in the last couple of months of going to eating too late and then going to sleep and then waking up a few hours later and then getting a snack. It's bad. I admit it. I have to get off of this habit. But interestingly, to your point, many of us, when we're tired, our body triggers a chemical reaction, I guess, and you're hungry when you're tired. So then we eat. And it's counterintuitive because now we're eating. Now we could be causing digestion issues and hampering our sleep. But right, it's I think a proven fact that you crave food when you're tired. I don't know why that is, but I experience it when I have to eat, and and then you want to go to sleep, but you're not going to get good sleep.
Yes, actually, Steve, you are absolutely right. When people are tired, they kind of want to eat something, especially sweet. So that sweet make people kind of like happy. I understand, and it is
Yeah.
understandable. But the point is, for example, last night I had like patient coming in very late. So after I got back home, it already 10. I kind of like, I'm hungry. Should I eat something? But then I'm like, no, if I eat something at 10, like what time am I gonna go to sleep? I usually go to sleep no later than 10. So I said, okay, I had my lunch. So I had 2 meals in a day. So that's not bad. So let's just put the hunger away a little bit, just go to sleep because sleep is more important than putting in some food at the last minute before go to bed. So I came back home, I didn't eat, although I feel hungry, I admit, but I went to sleep. I had a very, very good sleep. I didn't wake up at all. So now it's kind of like proof, right? You don't
Mm.
eat actually may help you a little bit better sleep instead of you had a big dinner, then you go to sleep. That is gonna mess up your sleep for sure.
You have more willpower than most of us because if I'm hungry, I got to eat. And I don't even know if I could sleep if I don't eat. But then again, once you get over that moment of I'm hungry and then just go to sleep, maybe we all would sleep much better. We don't realize it. And we're creatures of habit. So that's why I'm stuck on eating late. And I know it's bad, but every time I do it, which is every day, I say to myself, so what? but on the back end, probably could get better sleep if I didn't eat, and that's for most of us. By the way, you talked about warm beverages. Never drink anything cold, just not good for you. I have told so many people that, and I drink everything at room temperature now or warm ever since you said that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and people say they've heard that as well, but then they forget, just to have that reminder. Um, Final question on the sleep. You talk about when we run hot, we run cold. Typically, when somebody is having sleep challenges, is there one over the other that they usually am experiencing within their body, hot or cold?
Yes, actually, in general, people who have a lot of hate has trouble about sleep. Like I mentioned about the 20 something patient. Um, he never actually, before I asked him, he never mentioned about his sleep. He just came in for lower back pain. That's his main complaint actually. So I treated his lower back pain, but when I checked his tongue, I figured out his tongue is very red to me. Like, so I asked him, what usually do you eat? He said, oh, a lot of chicken and a lot of salad. So chicken compare with pork, compare with the beef, chicken is pretty hot in Chinese medicine. So all the food have their nature, like a cooling or hot or something like that. So chicken, think about chicken. Chicken wake up pretty early in the morning, right? Like three, I don't know, like I'm not living in a farm, but chicken wake up pretty early, like wake up everyone else. So chicken is a bird, basically. So chicken is very hot. So their meat is very hot. If you eat a lot of chicken, which means it's kind of give you a lot of heat. So I'm not
Hmm.
saying don't eat chicken at all, but if you eat chicken every day, every dinner, that's gonna give you a lot of heat in your body. So in Chinese medicine, how do we cook chicken? We make a chicken soup with mushroom. Why? Because the mushroom is very yin, it's very cooling. So when you cook the cooling mushroom with very hot chicken, especially in a soup, you kind of like lower down the hot nature of the chicken. In
Wow.
that way, it nourish you, give you nutrition, give you protein, but also don't give you too much heat.
Wow. Guess what's for lunch today? Salad with chicken. But it doesn't make a difference if it's cold. Because I'm eating this cold. I mean, the chicken was cooked, but does that reduce the temperature of it?
Actually, the temperature it's a matter a little bit, but the nature cannot change.
Yeah,
Even you eat cold chicken, it's still hot.
I gotcha. Yeah, and I'm seeing what you're saying in terms of I'm looking at more at the energy of what you eat. And there are some that Reiki their food before they eat it. But I see what you're saying in terms of, the life of the chicken. Briefly, final question. You eat meat. Let's say it's beef. Okay. Is that hot or cold?
So, meat in January, compare with vegetables, meat are hotter than vegetables. But in all the meat, like lamb actually pretty hot, chicken pretty hot, then is beef, then is pork. Pork is the least hot meat. So if you really like chicken or or beef, like for example, I mentioned about you cook chicken in a soup with mushroom. In that way, it neutralizes a little bit, so not so hot.
Yep.
If you eat chicken and you fry it like a fried chicken wing, that is super hot.
I would imagine. Well, maybe in the future we talk about the different things that we eat and the temperature of them. I'm fascinated that adding mushroom to chicken will cool it down. That's amazing. This is so interesting. Dr. Kelly, best way to reach you. I know that you're located in New York City, and certainly for acupuncture, somebody needs to physically visit you. But for a lot of the other modalities that you offer with Chinese medicine. It can be done virtually, but starting point is your website. What's that?
So they can go to my website, kelly121acupuncture.com, or they can email me at info@kelly121acupuncture.com, or call me at 347-885-1865. I'm opening every day, 9 to 9.
Amazing. Thank you so much for all the insight. Um, Learned a lot today. I had no idea insomnia can be supported by acupuncture, and looking forward next time we get together.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.